Hello everyone, welcome back to another video of Automation Testing Insider. So this is the sixth part of Jira series, and today we are going to talk about Agile methodology. We'll talk about its values and principles. So in the last video we have seen how to set up the project and what are the different options and menus we have in Jira tool. Now this will be kind of theoretical stuff guys, and today we'll focus on the complete concept of Agile methodology, and we'll see what are its values and principles. So until unless if you don't know the concept of agile, then it would be very difficult to understand the project workflow in Jira. So concentrate on today's video till the end so that you can understand the concept better, right? So let's get started with the agenda for today. So we are going to talk about what is agile methodology and what are the different frameworks are available in agile methodology. And as we discussed, we'll talk about its core values and agile principles. So this is what we are going to talk about. Now let's focus on the first topic, what is Agile methodology. But before I start to talk about what is Agile methodology, let's understand what is the meaning of the word Agile. We used to say like Agile projects, Agile methodology, right? So what is the meaning of the word Agile? So Agile means if something is changing frequently, rapidly, or quickly, or I would say easily, is known as Agile. The meaning of the word agile means changing frequently, quickly, easily, correct? We can think quickly. So I would say like we have to think quick, we have to take the decision quickly in agile. So that is nothing but the meaning of the word agile. If we talk about methodology, so I would say a system which has some values or rules, methods, and principles. That is nothing but the methodology. It is a process of having some methods, rules, and principles. Correct. If you combine both, like what is the meaning of agile methodology? So it's a project management approach, right? To develop any software, we need a certain approach, correct? So agile methodology is nothing but the project management approach to develop any software, which emphasizes on three things basically. What are the three things? We have flexibility, continuous improvement, and another one is customer satisfaction. So these are the three important aspects of agile methodology. We'll focus on how flexible we are. We should always focus on continuous improvement, right? And customer satisfaction. So end user or customer are the primary focus, where we always satisfy the customer as per their requirement, their needs. So this is agile methodology. Now let's talk about what are the different frameworks we have in agile methodology, right? So there are different frameworks like Scrum framework, we have Kanban, XP, extreme programming, and we have safe agile, and we have lean framework as well. So these are the different frameworks we have. There are some other frameworks also available, but primarily we have Scrum and Kanban, right? And most popular is Scrum framework. Like most of the time we are using, like 80% of the time we are using Scrum framework. In 80% of the projects we are using Scrum framework. We'll discuss about Scrum in detail. Let's talk about a little bit about what is Kanban, XP, Safe, and Lean, right? So what is Kanban? I think last video I talked about it. So there is no fixed duration in Kanban framework actually. Like there is no fixed cycle, release cycle in Kanban. So here we primarily focus on, we take the project as a whole and will draw a Kanban board, right, as a whole, and according to the requirements we are delivering the software. There is no fixed duration of the cycle in Kanban board basically. If we talk about XP, extreme programming, so primarily here we focus on the software development, like how we can improve our code quality with different techniques like TDD model, test driven development, or code refactoring, and there are some other techniques as well. So primarily we focus on the code quality of the software. And safe, so there we use the agile principles, core values, and this is for the large organization, this safe framework. And then lastly we have lean software development model, where we basically empowering the team to develop a good software. So these are the different other frameworks, guys, and primarily we focus on Scrum framework. So let's talk about Scrum more, right? So what is Scrum basically? So Scrum, what happens is like it is based on iterative model. Iterative model. So what does it mean? Like iterative cycle, I would say cycle, right? So iterative cycle is nothing but the sprint cycle, correct? Sprint. Now here we come up with word sprint. What does it mean? Sprint is nothing but the duration or the cycle where we release the software to the customer. So let's say in earlier days what happens is whenever we get the project, so we think about the whole project until unless if we don't until unless if it is developed. If it is not fully developed, then we cannot release the software, right? Whether it's 6-month contract or 1 year, we used to develop the whole thing and deliver it to the client. Now what happens is when we get the software, when we get the requirement from the customer, any project, then what happens is we divide the project into different modules. We divide the project into different modules, and then each module we have certain requirements, certain BRs. So they come up with the business requirement document. The client will, our BA team will work with the client and come up with the business requirement document where all the requirements are gathered and given properly, right? So there we, as per the business requirement, we pick the what are the priority requirements are there, and then we create the Scrum framework, and then we used to develop the framework based on the task given in each cycle. So let's say there are 100 requirements are here, 100 requirements. So we'll divide those requirements into different business requirement points, right? And then let's say 5 requirements will be delivered in this particular cycle. And this cycle is usually sprint cycle is of 2 to 4 weeks, like in most of the projects. In some projects we have 1 week of cycle, one sprint cycle as well. So cycle is nothing but, or sprint cycle is nothing but the duration where in which we release the software. So we'll release a few requirements in this cycle, like in these 2 weeks, and in the next 2 weeks we'll release some other requirements, and so on. So this is how it goes. And each cycle, what happens is, if I talk about iterative cycle, right? So what happens is, firstly sprint planning will be there, sprint planning, and development, and then release. So this will be kind of iterative cycle, like sprint planning, development of the sprint of different business requirement, and then we are releasing the software. So this is how cycle looks like. And what happens after each cycle, we'll get the feedback from the customer, what are the improvements in the next cycle, right? So those we incorporate in the next cycle. So what are the different roles we have in Scrum projects? So we have 3 major roles we have. One is product owner, another one is Scrum master, and we have development team and developer or testing team, right? So these are the 3 major roles we have. Product owner is nothing but who owns the product and get all the requirements, prioritize all the requirements, which requirement should go first, right? And Scrum master is nothing but completely managing the project, right? The complete process of the Scrum will be managed by this role, Scrum Master. And we have development team and testing team who develop the code and test the code. So these are the three important roles, and there are some important like daily activities we have in Scrum, correct? So we have daily stand up meeting we have, and sprint planning, sprint reviews, correct, and retrospective will be there. What does it means, retrospective? So after each cycle, once a release is done, once a cycle is done, then we'll get the feedback from the customer, like what went well, right, and what went wrong, where we can improve on, right? So these are all the things will be discussed as part of retrospective meeting. So these are the different concept about the Scrum, right? And yeah, and let's talk about what are the core values we have in Agile methodology and Agile principles. We'll discuss in coming slides. So what are the core values we have in Agile methodology? And one more thing I forgot. So in 2001, this Agile Manifesto was developed with group of developers, guys, right? And they have set four values, four Agile values, and 12 Agile principles, right? In 2001. So these are the core values which we are going to discuss. So individual and interactions over processes and tools. So individuals and collaboration or interactions among the team members are important than the processes what we are following and tools. So that is more important, like individual team members are important, and how they are interacting with each other is important than the how we are following the processes and tools. Working software is important over comprehensive documentation. So in earlier days, what happens is like spiral model or waterfall model, we too much think about documentation, right? We used to create so much documentation. So in this agile process, what happens is we mainly focus on working software. Like our primary focus should be on like releasing a good software, good working software, right? Over comprehensive documentation. So this is the second point. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Customer collaboration means we frequently connect with customer to get the feedback whether we are creating the correct project or not, right? We are delivering the correct software, correct product or not. Then the contract negotiation. Contract negotiation is like in at the beginning of the project we discuss with client, right? And they give certain requirements, and those might be changed later on, right? So that's what we are not focusing on like what we have discussed at the beginning. We focus on how we are interacting with the client and how their requirement getting changed, and according to that we are developing a software. This is the meaning of this third point. Customer collaboration is very important than the contract negotiation. Responding to change over following a plan. So we always welcome the changes which comes from the client, which comes from the requirement, right? So that is instead of the following the plan, like what we have developed the project plan, even though we will incorporate all whatever the changes comes from the customer. So those are the four principles we have, core values we have in Agile methodology. Now let's talk about what are the principles we have in Agile. So the first principle is satisfy the customer thorough early and through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. So satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software is important. Welcome changing requirements even late in the development. So we always welcome the changing requirement as we discussed in values, right? So we always welcome the changing requirement even late in development. So let's say, let me give an example. So here we are developing the software and these are the different cycles we have. In this particular cycle, let's say we are developing first and second requirement, here third and fourth, here fifth and sixth. What happens is, let's say this, the requirement 2 is little uh, like bigger than the earlier other requirements, okay, and let's say we got some more requirements in this requirement 2, like more changes in this requirement 2. So what we'll do, we'll take some time to develop the code and we'll defer this requirement to the next phase, next cycle, right? So here we will go ahead with only requirement 1 and uh, uh, we'll we'll get some more time to develop this requirement 2 because we have more changes on this requirement 2, right? So this is how we do in agile process. Deliver working software frequently, this is important, right? And business people and developers must work together, so we should always like work in agile environment. Developers and business people, business analysts, testers, all should work together. Build projects around motivated individuals. Promote face-to-face conversations. So instead of sending through emails, right, communicating through emails or chats, we always focus on how we can interact each other through, you know, calls or with face-to-face meeting. Working software is primary measure of progress. Agile process promotes sustainable development environment. So we always focus on good development environment in Agile. Continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. So we always focus on technical excellence and how we can develop our software with good design techniques, right? So that always enhances the agility process. Simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not being done, is essential. So what happens is, let's say we have some requirements, let's say we have 6 requirements over here. We got the 6 requirements from the customer, and in these 6 requirements, what happens is, let's say we are developing these two, and we can think that in these 2 requirements we can, you know, we can combine all other 4 requirements together. So instead of developing them separately, these 4 functionality, we can develop only these 2 only, right? So we can leave out these 4 requirements separately, correct? So the meaning of this, the art of maximizing the amount of work not being done. So we should always think about, like, what are the important functionalities are there, what are the important requirements are there, and how we can do it better. Instead of developing 6 requirements in 6 different ways, right? Instead of that, we can incorporate all those other changes, like changes are there in 4 requirements into 2 requirements, and we can develop the software quickly. So that is the main motto about this principle. The best architecture, requirements and design emerge from self-organizing team. Have regular intervals, right? So we have different intervals, means like different sprint cycles we have. So these are the 12 principles of agile methodology, guys. So let me know if you have still some questions or concerns, right? So write your comment and write your questions in the comment section of this video. So thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.